on, I'm going to have you help support me, Henry.
What? Is this Linda?
As a start, I want you to get together $5,000. And be quick about it.
This can't be Linda. Who is this?
God, you're so annoying. Who else would this be? This is Linda, your mother-in-law. I'm sick of the act, so I'm not going to pretend anymore.
What? Enough with these bad jokes. What are you talking about?
You can't even figure it out on your own. You're so thick.
What is going on here all of a sudden? You were over at my place for dinner just 2 days ago.
You call that disgusting slop dinner? It was difficult to even force it down my throat. I'm not going to act like a nice mother-in-law anymore. Amy and I are both finally free to act how we really feel.
Amy too? You were both just acting? But both of you looked like you were enjoying yourselves.
A performance worthy of an Oscar, if I say so myself. Pretending to like someone like you this entire time sure was tiring.
I can't believe this.
Oh, you're actually shocked? Well, both you and Sally are so naive, it was a walk in the park to fool you.
I don't care what you say about me, but please don't talk badly of my wife.
She's my daughter, so I can say what I like about her. Amy is much cuter and better all around, though. She gets it from me, of course. But that's not important. Get the $5,000 together as soon as possible.
I don't understand why I have to give you that much money out of nowhere. What do you even need it for?
I told you 2 days ago that I'll have you support both me and Amy. You might be dumb, but you at least make a lot of money. You can be of use in that way, at least.
This still makes no sense. You have your husband's income, don't you? Why do you need money from me?
You mean Tom? You mean the ATM that I can no longer use since he got laid off?
What? No way.
Yes, he did. So now I'm in a spot of bother financially. These layoffs really are a pain in the neck. I guess the company was downsizing or restructuring, and they decided that he no longer served any purpose there.
There must have been some kind of mistake. Tom is completely indispensable to his company. There's no way that he would be laid off.
Well, that's the reality. No matter how indispensable he might have pretended to be, he still got laid off. And bringing in money was the only thing that man could do. Now he's completely useless.
You shouldn't talk about Tom like that. He's a good man. And even if he did get laid off because of some downsizing or whatever else, he still spent all of those years working hard to provide for his family.
I don't care about any of that. What kind of person he is means nothing to me. I just didn't want to lose a walking ATM like him, so I've spent my marriage acting in front of him, too.
You did that even to your husband?
That useless man. He's home too much these days. Not like back in the day. He would hardly ever be around. Because of that, I've had to pretend in front of him more than ever before. It's stressful, you know. I just finished finalizing the divorce papers.
You're gonna divorce Tom? Just because he got laid off?
Of course. If he's not bringing in any money, I have no use for him. I'll make sure to get as much as I can in the divorce settlement, too. That goes without saying.
You really are the worst. Sally told me before we got married that you and Amy are rather unfriendly, but I would have never imagined that you were this kind of person.
Oh, she said that, did she? So then I guess you were also part of the performance, pretending to like us.
That's not the case with me at all. You had been nice to me and Sally after we got married, so the two of us had thought that you had a change of heart.
I'm afraid not. That was only because Sally managed to bring along a decent man with a good salary.
So you just view people like that? By the total of their bank accounts? You really are a horrible person.
You are going to be my ATM number 2. The first one broke, unfortunately.
How selfish are you? Do you really only care about yourself?
Of course not! I care about Amy with all my heart. But really, Having this broken ATM around is really a pain.
What? Are you with Tom right now?
Of course he isn't here. I don't need someone like him hanging around. I kicked him out of the house.
What? Where's he gonna stay? It's winter right now.
I don't care where he goes. He's probably having a drink with all the homeless people in the park. That would be a good fit for a person like him.
I'm gonna look for him with Sally right now. He could freeze to death outside.
Even if you find him, he's got no place to come back to here. I sold all of his things. He didn't have much, so I didn't get a whole lot for it. But I guess it's better than nothing.
This is just too much. How can you even think of doing things like this?
He's the one who is causing me trouble by hanging around and not bringing in any money. If you and Sally have the time to look around the city for trash like him, hurry up and get me my money.
I'm not gonna do that. Did you seriously think I would agree to that?
What? Are you going to leave your poor mother-in-law and sister-in-law without any means to support themselves?
I have no intention of ever helping the two of you.
Even though I'm Sally's mother. And for someone like you who has no family at all, I'm the closest thing to a mother that you have. Family is supposed to look after each other no matter what kind of relationship they might have. Helping each other is part of what it means to be family. You must be real scum if you don't understand that.
Of course I understand that.
Oh, wow, coming from you! Surprisingly, you grew up into someone with some common sense despite having no family at all. Your relatives in heaven must be crying tears of joy at that.
Let me think about it a little bit.
There's only one answer. I wonder what will happen if you decide to not give me the money.
My name is Henry. I'm 36 years old. I never expected things to come to this. I'm in complete shock right now. I lost my entire family in an accident when I was very young and grew up going through the foster care system. After meeting and marrying Sally, I was so happy that I would finally have a family of my own. Sally told me that her sister and mother were not nice people and that her home was never a good place for her to be, so she moved out as soon as she could. She was happily surprised when they seemed to have turned a new leaf by the time our wedding came around, but everything was just an act. Sally's father, Tom, on the other hand, is an incredibly kind person who I respect a lot. I don't want anything to do with Amy and Linda after they kicked him out of the house like that. But once Linda brought up that I have to help family, I got a little confused with what I should do. It might sound stupid, but after never having had a family of my own, I want to help the family that I have now. I wonder if this is just what happens within families, or am I the weird one for thinking that this is unacceptable? But while I was thinking over what the right move was and how I could bring up what happened with Sally, Linda and Amy moved forward with even more shocking actions.
Wow, your house has a lot of nice things inside, doesn't it?
What are you talking about?
Amy and I are at your house right now. Perfect timing that neither you nor Sally are here.
What? Sally isn't home? How did you get in?
I took one of your spare keys when we came over for dinner last time.
What? You have to be joking. You can't do that.
I also took the liberty of taking everything that looked like it would be worth some money to the pawn store. The house is so bare now it would be an absolute breeze to move somewhere else. No packing needed.
That is just plain breaking and entering at this point.
Don't accuse me of that. You should thank me for decluttering your house instead.
This is completely unbelievable. Don't tell me you sold Sally's things too.
Of course I did. Why would I leave hers? Remember, it's your fault for not coming up with the money fast enough.
You only asked me for it 3 days ago. You didn't even give me any time.
Oh, shut up. I told you that there was only one correct choice to make. You shouldn't have needed any time to think. Everything had been decided already. I just remembered. I found some old junk that I sold as well. I was surprised that old things like those could sell for such a high price these days, too.
What old things are you talking about?
I found a box at the back of the closet full of old knickknacks. What were you doing keeping them there anyway?
Are you talking about the white box?
That's the one.
Those things belong to my family. I've had them as keepsakes since they passed.
The guy at the pawn store said that they were in good condition. Really, you're just like a woman being sentimental over a few trinkets.
Where did you sell them? I need to get those back.
I won't tell. If they were that important, you wouldn't have kept them in the back of the closet.
Oh God, this is insane. I told you before that what you're doing is a crime. Those items were the only things I had left to remember my family by. How could you sell them like this?
Forget about that. It was just useless junk. It makes way more sense to sell them and get something that is actually useful. Money! And by the way, theft between family members doesn't count as a crime. I haven't done anything wrong at all.
Maybe if we're talking about a kid taking one of their siblings' toys or whatever, this is a different story. You broke into my house.
But that's just some details. I didn't break in either. I used a key and walked through the front door. Don't try and act like I smashed a window and crawled in like a robber. But are you really going to take this attitude with your family who is struggling to make ends meet? You're going to treat us like criminals.
You're not struggling at all. You're enjoying doing all of these cruel things.
Don't call me a liar. Not only did you not bring me the money I asked for, but now you're also calling me a criminal and a liar. What a poor excuse for a man. You had better divorce Sally.
What? Where are all of these insane demands coming from?
I'll have her marry someone else. Someone who's really rich and doesn't mind sharing with his family. Unlike you.
You plan on using your own daughter just to get your hands on more money?
I raised her, so of course she has to pay me back somehow. And with money suits me just fine.
You're out of your mind. You're seriously delusional.
Looks like you're getting to be all alone again. Don't feel too sad about it. But you must have gotten used to being alone by now, I guess.
That is enough. I have some things to take care of. I'll speak to you later.
Where's the money? Why haven't you brought it yet?
You're still going on about this?
You said you needed to take care of things, but it's been 2 days since then. Then I went to talk to you directly at your house, but it looks like it's empty. What's the meaning of this?
Of course it's empty. We moved, that's what.
What do you mean you moved? How could you do that so quickly? It should be impossible to sign a new contract for another property that quickly. Stop lying to me.
Thanks to you, we didn't have much left in the house after you pawned it all, so we were able to do it quickly.
I'm going to collect the money. Tell me where you are right now.
I'm at Tom's house.
Tom's house? What house? Do you mean a cardboard box in the park?
Of course not. You were wrong for what you did to him. You made a big mistake in your calculations.
What are you talking about? I told you that I just threw away some useless trash.
After you told us that you had kicked Tom out, Sally and I immediately went to go look for him because he wasn't replying to our texts or picking up his phone. Just as we were about to go to the police to ask for their help, he finally replied.
Do you want a pat on the back? I don't know why you would go out of your way for him like that.
He seemed incredibly exhausted. He was in shock after being discarded by the family he had looked after for so many years.
I doubt trash has the ability to feel shock.
I've had enough with you calling me trash. Give it a rest already.
What? Who is this?
It's Tom. You've really done it now with your selfishness. I won't let you get away with this.
Stop lying, Henry. Pretending to be someone else is a bad look.
There's no lie. This is Tom. I'm with Henry and Sally right now.
Wait, are you serious?
Yeah, this is your useless piece of trash husband, Tom. Henry showed me all of the texts you have been sending.
What? He showed you everything.
Yes, the texts that show who you really are behind your fake kindness. The ones that prove that you have just been treating me, Henry, and Sally as things to benefit you. And of course, the ones where you try to coerce Henry into giving you money. So he didn't give in to your ridiculous demands, and so you broke into his house and stole everything to pawn, huh? Come to think of it, you did that with my things too. I really am pathetic for now being able to realize what a horrible person you truly are.
Oh, shut up. It doesn't matter if you know about all of that. Nothing changes at all. We're still getting divorced, so you can stop acting all tough. You weren't even needed by your company. Why would I need you?
I think you've been under the wrong impression from the very beginning. I didn't get laid off from work. I decided that I'd been working long enough, and that the person who was going to take over my role was ready for it. I simply chose to retire.
No way. Why didn't you tell me that?
Because you didn't even give me a chance. You kicked me out before I was able to tell you.
Well, I just assumed that you got laid off in some restructuring of the company. Does that mean you get a severance payment?
Of course, with that and my savings, I won't have to work for the rest of my life. I'll get income from my investments too.
You had been investing money? In what? Why did you keep this a secret?
Of course I have. I've been buying stocks in various industries for the past few years. A lot of them have finally started to increase in value quite nicely, so I'm looking forward to seeing how high they'll go. And I didn't really keep it a secret at all. I tried to mention it to you a few times, but you always told me that you didn't want to hear about those kinds of boring things, so I left it.
I had no idea you were planning ahead like that. You should have been more clear that you were talking about money at those times. So where are you right now?
We're all at my condo downtown.
What? When did you buy that?
I've had it for ages. I'd used it as a workplace away from the office. That's why I had such few things at home. Anything that I would need for work was always kept here.
Wow, you really are an amazing guy. I'm so lucky to be your wife. Send me the address. I want to come meet you.
Aren't you ashamed of yourself to even think of saying something like that? We're obviously getting a divorce.
What? Why?
Why would you think that we would make up after what you've said and done? There's no way anyone would want to be with you after seeing your true colors. For now, I'll let Henry and Sally move in here with me.
What? And what about me? What about Amy? How are we supposed to support ourselves?
I couldn't care less about what happens to you, and although I am a bit worried about Amy, everything she did was her own choice. Now she has to live with the consequences. She may be my daughter, but she's already 32. She's not a little girl.
So you're just going to abandon me and Amy? What kind of father are you?
It was you two who decided to abandon me first, just because you thought I'd lost my job. After that, you still have the nerve to question what kind of a father I am? What kind of a mother are you? What kind of a wife? What kind of a person?
Well, I'm sorry about that. I was too hasty in making that choice. I didn't know that you had chosen to retire. I love you.
You only love money. There's nothing else for us to discuss. My lawyer will contact you about the divorce proceedings. Goodbye.
Wait, Tom. Rethink this. We can just go back to how it was before.
He doesn't want to talk to you anymore. Nothing you say will make things go back to the way they were before. Tom went to do some work. He may have technically quit his job, but he's still getting requests for help from some of his subordinates, and is helping them out even now. That's how important he's been to the company this whole time.
You knew he had all of these assets, didn't you?
I had no idea. I always just respected Tom because of his personality, not his money. If I had known, I wouldn't have needed to offer our place up for him to stay.
You offered that?
Of course, Sally was also only too happy to help her dad out. But when we told him that he could live with us, he refused and took us to his condo. I was surprised that he had something like this whole time.
Let's just pretend that all of this up till now didn't happen. It was just a silly game.
No way, that is out of the question.
Why not? We're family. We're supposed to help each other out in tough spots.
If you really believed that or cared about the idea of family at all, you wouldn't have done what you did. Now that it's all blown up in your face, you try to use family to cover yourself, but it is too late. Family doesn't behave like you did. My family is Tom and Sally.
But you have a mother and sister-in-law, too! How can you forget about us?
No, I don't. I don't need you. I only need people who care for each other reciprocally.
Do you think you can make that kind of decision for Sally? She'll resent you for trying to deprive her of her mother and sister.
I don't think she will. She also wants nothing to do with you ever again. She's more than happy to cut all ties with the two of you. She says she can't forgive you for what you did and said to both me and Tom.
I can't believe this.
By the way, do you remember what you did with all of my precious keepsakes? I'll be pressing charges against you for that.
I told you before that theft between family doesn't count as a real crime. You won't scare me with that threat.
You might want to check the law surrounding that one more time. It's different if those family members live in a different house.
No way.
Besides, you didn't just steal, you also broke into my house and trespassed. There are plenty of charges to file, and the civil court will definitely side with me.
Wait, you don't need to do this. I won't be able to pay for any damages. I'll be ruined.
That is not my problem. You brought this upon yourself.
Don't say that. I'm sorry. So please forgive me.
After that, I pressed charges against both Linda and Amy. They were arrested and charged with breaking and entering and theft of property. They had to pay a large fine and for damages, of course. Tom and Linda also ended up getting a divorce as expected, although Linda did try and beg and plead for him not to go through with it. For the divorce settlement, Tom just let them have the house as is, and that was it. He didn't want to fight a prolonged court battle, and that was the easiest way out quickly. In the end, though, they had to sell the house to pay for a lot of debts that they had accumulated. Not only did they have to pay the fines for their crimes and damages, Linda apparently had gambling debts too. Even selling the house didn't help them too much, and the money from the sale did little to pay their debts. They both tried to get jobs to pay it back, but since the two of them had always just lived off of Tom's income, they couldn't get very good jobs with any work history. They had to settle for some minimum wage positions to try and eke out a living on. I never heard any more about them after that. Tom had a meeting with his company and they requested that he came back to work for them at least for a little while longer. He agreed, but only on one condition, that he could work remotely from home. They accepted his condition. Sally and I also had something great happen to us. Sally is pregnant and we're gonna have a baby. Neither of us can wait for the baby to be born, so we can really start a family together. I'm gonna do everything I can to protect and cherish all of them. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button and subscribe to see more content.